A very warm good afternoon to all the participants and all the dignitaries. Uh, Welcome to day two and second session on the 5-day faculty development program on sustainable design with pre-engineering techniques and approach towards eco-friendly buildings. Today we have our honorable speaker, Dr. L.R. Manjunath, who is also the Associate Vice President, JSW Cement Limited, and he's also the chairman of Indian Concrete Institute Bengaluru Center, Bengaluru. On behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, we extend a very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for being here with us today and spreading the knowledge and the expertise that you have. I now request my beloved colleague, Professor Vinay Kumar KS, to introduce us to the speaker, to the participants. Oh, one నిమిషం. one నిమిషం. Ah,
Yes, good afternoon to everyone. It's my privilege to introduce today's speaker, Dr. L.R. Manjunath sir, to the participants. Sir has received his BE in Civil Engineering from UVCE, Bangalore University in the year 1992, and Sir has done his MBA in the year 1999 from the International Institute of Advanced Marketing. And Sir has 3 post-graduation programs under his name from various universities like Alliance University from Bangalore, and one more post-graduation program in concrete technology from UK in the year 2009, PhD in management from Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore in the year 2018, and JSW ISB Future Fit Leadership Program from the prestigious Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. And Sir has total experience in the construction field, 28 years of construction field experience Sir is having, along with the building materials, techno marketing, application development, new product development, branding, business development, sales and product training, mentoring and advising in the construction industry, corporate and industry services sectors and startups. More than 28 years Sir has served in the industry. Presently is working as Associate Vice President Marketing at JSW Cement Limited and advises on project research works in civil engineering and management for research scholars from reputed institutions. He is constantly pursuing his research interest in the green building materials, concrete admixtures, special concretes, alternatives to river sand, new construction technologies, and new product developments and training on skill development for civil engineers and advisors on career developments for young engineers and management studies. Sir is having more than 12 years of research experience. Sir has published more than 40 research papers in national and international journals and more than 40 conferences. In more than 40 conferences, Sir has published his paper, and he has delivered more than 300 guest lectures across the country, visiting many engineering and management colleges for training the young students on new skills. Sir has traveled to Singapore to present his research paper at Structural Engineers World Congress (SCWC) in the year 2015 on invitation by ACCE Indian chapter, and traveled and visited more than 16 countries in Europe, Middle East, and Southeast Asia for business development, study, and knowledge gaining trips. He was the chairman for Delegate Mobilization Committee ICI IWC 2018, which was held from 19th to 22nd September 2018 at Bengaluru. Recently, he has attended the SCWC 2019 World Conference as the chairman of the Indian delegation representing Association of Consulting Engineers from India for the Structural Engineers World Congress SCWC 2019 held at Istanbul, Turkey. It was held in the year 2019 April 24th to 26th. Sir has professional affiliations to life member affiliation towards ICI Indian Concrete Institute, Instruct, IOV, ISTD, American Concrete Institute Indian chapter, and sir as past secretary in the Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, that is in India, Bangalore Center, past honorable treasurer in Instruct All India, and sir has delivered more than is one present sir has presented more than 50 and national and international conferences and seminars. More than 5,000 readers have referred sir research papers in the ResearchGate and academia research portals. This is a very brief introduction about this Manjunath sir. Sir, welcome to the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vinay, for introducing us to LR Manjunath sir. And of course, Manjunath sir has a very strong association with us at DSATM. He has been at the forefront and helping us organize various technical events under the ICI student chapter banner. Sir, we are all overwhelmed and very appreciative of you of being here. Thank you for accepting our offer to spread your knowledge in today's program. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
Again, I have to share my screen, right?
sir, you can present your screen now, sir.
Yeah, I'll do that now. It's visible now?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I thank Dayananda Sagar Academy of Technology and Management for providing this wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge on effective use of alternative materials for sustainable and durable construction. It's a great event and a great occasion because tomorrow is the Engineers Day. Sir M. Vishweshwaraya was born on 15th September, and we are celebrating Engineers Day across the world. And also, Indian Concrete Institute Bangalore Center celebrating the Engineers Day tomorrow. It's a great occasion to share knowledge on sustainable and durable construction using alternative materials. So before starting my presentation, I would like to take the journey of my company, JSW Group. What is our verticals, how we are present throughout the world in terms of business and building materials. So integrated building materials company, JSW Group, a $14 billion conglomerate, a corporate house. We are into steel manufacturing, one of the largest steel producing country in the world. And we are also into energy. Recently, we ventured into green energy, especially wind energy and solar energy. And installed capacity is currently 1,531 megawatt. And going forward, it will be 10,000 megawatt. And the focus is mainly on sustainable green energy. JSW Cement started way back in 2009. As on today, we are having about 14 million ton capacity, one of the fastest growing cement company in India. And next 3 years, the capacity augmentation will be about 25 million tons. Apart from cement, we are into paints recently launched. We have a very eco-friendly decorative paint section, which is being marketed throughout India. And it is very eco-friendly paints. One of its kind paint we are marketing in the Indian scenario. Apart from that, we are into ports. We are having a capacity of 2,000 million ton per annum handling capacity using our various port terminals. So contribution to Indian progress. Recently, JSW has sponsored the Olympics delegation to Japan. Many of the athletes were sponsored by JSW Group through Inspire Institute of Sports. Is one institute JSW has started. So we are into child education, sustainable development, JSW through JSW Foundation, we are doing many other works. And one of the recent thing what we have done is that we had established a 1,000 bed hospital at Bellary with connected pipeline of um, uh, oxygen uh, to save the COVID patients. Because oxygen was in short supply, we had a oxygen manufacturing factory at Bellary. That support was done by JSW Group. 1,000 capacity bed during the peak of second wave of COVID. And many states were supplied with oxygen, the medical oxygen by JSW Group from our steel plant. We converted the oxygen to medical oxygen, even though our the production was totally affected. So, as a company, cement company, we are present in various parts of India, south, west, and eastern parts. We are very much there, and very soon we are going to be there in the North India also. Many products are there. All are eco-friendly products. Whatever JSW is manufacturing are very eco-friendly products. PSC cement, concrete HD, and ComCem. It's a composite cement. And JSW GGPS is one product which is being consumed by all the RMC plants. 99% RMC plants are using as a sustainable SCM, secondary cementitious material replacing OPC cement. Also, we make OPC cement to cater to the requirement of RMC plants where they blend the OPC along with GGBS to make blended concrete. So today, the main objective is to talk about the environmental concerns, what we are facing now globally, and need for alternative materials. Okay, how by using the industrial byproducts, we can make the construction very eco-friendly. It may be concrete production or other composite constructions, whatever it may be. What are the manufacturing process for this eco-friendly materials? How we can convert the byproducts into suitable eco-friendly product which can be used for concrete construction. Advantages, applications, along with testimonials and conclusion. These are the various things I'm going to talk about in the today presentation. So, dear friends, okay, this big challenge ahead of us by 2050, the planet is going to have 10 billion population. Currently, maybe close to about 7 billion population. India is having 1.3 billion, China having 1.3. These two countries alone contribute almost 50% of 40% of the world's population. Okay. We have other highly populous countries and all, and many of the population, majority of the population, going to live in urban environment. The urbanization is very fast. We probably by 2050, 50% of the population of India will be living in urban cities, urban area. So with that, we are going to create concrete jungles. We already know the flooding happening because of heavy rains and the ecological imbalance being created due to harmful emissions from the factories, from the carbon dioxide or monoxide from the vehicle population, and various other activities due to which global warming is happening. So this is one photograph of a city in New York, central business districts. You can see there's no space at all. So at this age, at this time, the buildings are like this. And in another 30 to 40 years, all the urban centers will be like this jungle. Even if you go to forest also, you see the trees are apart, maybe 5 feet, 6 feet and all. Here there is no place at all. Like that, we are going to create and more urban jungles. So coming to our core topic today, the cement production. 1 ton of cement production, we all know it is not an eco-friendly activity. So we requires consumes about 1.5 ton of limestone, and also we are going to use coal to heat the limestone up to 1,500 degrees centigrade. Also we consume electricity, and also With all that, what's going to happen? The carbon dioxide emissions for production of 1 ton of cement is close to 0.8 to 1 ton. Latest statistics here is average about 0.65, 650 kg per ton of cement production. That is the global average now because of various things what we have taken. Whereas JSW, whatever the cement manufacturing is there, we are manufacturing eco-friendly cements. One carbon footprint per ton is equal to about 300 kg, below 300 kg. We have already achieved a global benchmark in terms of cement production and sustainability. So we all know that cement production liberates about 5% of the total carbon dioxide emissions. So we're having this greenhouse gas effect because of the environmental issues. So, as per the data, 1965, CO2 emissions country-wise is given. But as we go towards 2020, we are having various different scenario. China emitting 27% of the carbon dioxide emissions, most number one. America 11%, it's a vast country, and India is not lagging behind. 6%, 6.6% of the CO2 emissions are happening because of our various activities. We also produce the second largest quantity of cement in the world, close to about 400 million tons. The installed capacity is 550 million tons. So, looking at these figures, we need to really work very hard to bring down the carbon dioxide emission because our population is going to increase, our cement consumption is going to increase, and we should not overtake America. So, America, the cement production is close to 200 million tons, and they have taken all the precaution to control the emissions. Whereas in India, it's a fast-growing country, and continuously we are producing more and more cement, more and more steel to cater to the requirement of infrastructure development. This is the statistic of country-wise emissions. We have a major chunk of emissions happening. The concern of developing nations increasing carbon footprint. So many countries are gradually reducing the carbon footprint, whereas in the case of developing countries, it is not possible at all. It's not possible. You can see the graph, China and India at the bottom of highest emitting countries. Continuously, our emission levels are going up. So sustainable needs, impact of construction. When we do construction, not only the building construction, we have to maintain the building, okay, at the various temperature gradients. The cold countries, we have to heat the entire building to keep it warm. In the climatic countries, like tropical countries, we require complete cooling in the summer time because of the rise in the temperatures. We need to keep the temperature at an optimum level. So this is creating a major impact on CO2 emissions. 30% of the gas emissions are happening because of construction activity only, and 10% of the world's finest dust, because construction liberates a lot of dust. We are not able to control. In India, especially, we don't care at all regarding how to cover it. And like now, on the urban environment, a lot of things are happening. Otherwise, we don't care at all. So we also consume a lot of water for making concrete. A lot of land we consume. So these are all not environmental activities. So by 2050, the cement requirement will be 7 billion metric ton. So 7 billion metric ton means 2 times the requirement of sand. Okay, 14 billion metric ton or 20 billion metric ton of sand is required. So these are the two important materials we use for concrete making. So like that way, similar way, billions of tons. You multiply 7 by 0.65, maybe it is about 4 to 5 billion metric ton of CO2 emissions will happen. So this is creating a lot of problems. Additional cement plants are required. tremendous increase in landfill because of the mining activities, a tremendous increase in CO2, tremendous increase in freshwater usage. You require a lot of water to maintain cement plants. So this is not a very eco-friendly activity. So how to augment it? We cannot stop construction, but we need to augment the usage of pure OPC cement by replacing OPC cement by using various industrial byproducts. And also the natural river sand we use for construction. That also can be minimized by using alternative building materials. So I'm going to talk about all these materials one by one. So this is what I already showed you. Cement and steel put together is going to create about 5 plus 7, about 12% of the CO2 emissions. And industry-wise, if you look at the industry, the highest carbon dioxide emitting industries are cement and iron. We have 31.2% of total industrial emissions coming from cement and 28 point. Totally put together, almost 60% of the total emissions, industrial sector, in terms of carbon dioxide, are coming from these two products, which are the primary materials for construction. So we all now talked about the carbon footprint, how the world is reacting to the changes in mitigating the CO2 emissions. So in construction, we have a major role to play. Being civil engineers, we have to find solutions. The sustainable solutions are eco-friendly and also it should be cost effective also. Should not be very costly. Because in construction, we always look at cost effective solutions which are going to last longer. So being civil engineer, our role is to make the concrete construction sustainable. So principle of a sustainable building. So we all civil engineers and architects, we all know the structural, the building, be sustainable should have structural efficiency. Okay. To minimize the environmental impact associated with the life cycle cost. To be energy efficient. Okay. Should utilize natural light, should utilize solar energy. Okay. Water efficiency. So whatever the water we use should grey water and other thing should regulate the usage of water, reduce the water quantum in maintaining the house and material efficiency. The material efficiency comes by using alternative materials which are renewable, recyclable, and environmental friendly. So when you construct a building, we are looking at all these factors to make the building sustainable and eco-friendly and net zero building. So net zero building, that is the going concept now globally. Many countries have adopted now. Europe by 2050, they want to make the entire construction net zero. That means to say, in construction activity, which is emitting 40% of the CO2 emissions, they want to make it zero. So how they want to make it? They have got various methods and adopted various technologies now, in cement manufacturing, in construction, all these things they have adopted to make the construction net zero by 2050. So one of the company recently they have launched a new product, Enviro Mix, a totally new approach in concrete making, which has been recently released by one of the admixture company, the Chryso from Italy. So what is sustainability in common sense? That means to say, sustainability means it is always not a funda. See, we have to consume what is required for today without affecting the consumption pattern of the tomorrow generation, next generation. That's called sustainability. The definition, if you want to really define it, it can be like this. Sustainability is defined as the meet the needs of the current generations without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their needs. That is called sustainability in common sense. To make the concrete sustainable, construction sustainable, the practice of creating structures and using processes that are environmentally responsible and resource efficient. throughout a building's life cycle, from sitting to design, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation, and demolition. So that's called a cradle to grave, the journey of material from cradle to grave. And once again, how you will recycle it. So sustainable construction involves everything, not only the usage of material, it involves starting from design, the foundation, the execution, and also the maintenance of the buildings. So coming to a sustainable building material, I've already discussed it with you regarding this. So they should be procured from a renewable sources. Okay. Renewable sources means byproducts of an industry, which recurring type. If you are using slag from a steel mill, steel production will continuously happen now. So it will continuously generate 30% of the slag. So it is a recurring product. Whatever we keep on using keeps on coming as long as we are making steel. So fly ash coming from a thermal power plant. As long as we are producing power through thermal source, we are going to get fly ash. So like that way. Sustainable material is a continuously available material. The cycle for sustainability fits into getting economic profit, giving social benefit to the people. It should be a viable solution, should be equitable with the costings and bearable. That means to say, it should be a product of eco-friendliness. It's not damaging any environment. So that's what actually calls for sustainability cycle. So one step forward, lower the CO2 emissions, lower the energy requirement, prolonged life of the building, finding local solutions, the problems of local problems using global technologies, okay. Whether it may be a manufacturing technology, precast technology, whether it may be making the buildings sustainable through solar lighting, sustainable through efficient management of waste in the building. These are all calls for using global technologies to meet the local requirements. So now I'm going to the core topic of concrete. We all know concrete is a man-made material, second most consumed product on this planet. So when we make concrete, we are using various ingredients. Now, one of the main ingredients is cement and water. Cement, it comes from cement manufacturing. Okay. So the other product will be fine aggregates. So fine aggregates, earlier it was natural sand, river sand. So now we have got various types of manufactured products, M sand, slag sand, copper slag sand, fly ash based sand. So many aggregates now they are available in the market based on the nearest source available of this material. Then one more product which is changing how we are making concrete is the chemical admixtures. So chemical admixtures have changed. Way back in 1982, Fosroc was the one company which started here in Bangalore. After that, now there are more than about 3 to 4,000 chemicals manufacturing companies. They manufacture various admixtures, um, retarding plasticizers, PC-based admixtures, then accelerating admixtures based on your requirement, air entaining agents, waterproofing products. There are many admixtures we are using mixing with concrete. So now concrete has become a mixture of admixtures now. So that means to say, earlier we are having four products, water, cement, aggregate and sand. But now more than 10 products goes into making a concrete based on application. We may be wondering what 10 products are there. We don't know all these products. I'll tell you, people are using slag sand or copper slag sand. Then they're using GGBS or fly ash. They're going for ultrafine material, metakaolin, microsilica, ultrafine fly ash, ultrafine GGBS. Okay, so there are four products based on the requirement. Then we are using fibers. In terms of admixtures, we are using waterproofing admixture, PC-based admixture. Okay, So already how many products have put? More than 7 to 8 products. To modify the properties concrete, but to modify the flowability, to improve the strength and durability performance. Okay. Sustainable concretes are concretes which are designed using eco-friendly materials, optimization of material. So mixed design, how much cement we are going to use? Generally, maximum is 450 kg OPC cement. We can think of using for even M100, M200 grades of concrete. But that 450 kg will not suffice. We are going up to the powder content of 700 to 750 kg. We are designing M200, 250 MPa. We are using up to 750 kg, but we are using not pure cement. We are using fly ash. We are using GGBS. We are using ultrafine fly ash, ultrafine GGBS, metakaolin, riser's ash, cementitious materials. So lime powder we are using. So like that, we are using optimum material to make the concrete. Using recycled aggregates also we are using. But innovations is the must. Innovation, adopting various admixtures and admixture technologies, waterproofing systems. Overall, we are achieving sustainable concrete. Today, I can proudly say that using mineral admixtures, close to 5 to 6 million tons of uh, limestone we have saved by using mineral admixture like GGBS mainly. So why concrete? Because you may all think, that, why we have to use concrete, sir? Why can't we use steel? Why can't we use bamboo? Why can't we use wood? Because earlier people were using wood, they were using other materials for making construction. But now the availability of land is less. We are going for high-rise buildings. So we are using concrete because it is economical, durable, eco-friendly. We can design an eco-friendly concrete. Uh, you can be manufactured locally. You don't have to bring all the way from other places. Want to use steel, you have to bring from other places. But using locally available material, we can design concrete which is sustainable and durable both. So already I've discussed on these points, cement. So the replacements for cement, OPC cement, in reducing the carbon footprint of the slag and fly ash, are the main replacements. But of late, they are using calcined clay to make cement. That's also there. And at the higher end level for high performance concretes, we are using ultrafine materials. So aggregates, we are using demolished waste as a substitute. Up to 25% it's allowed as per IS codes. There are certain countries which are using up to 50% replacement of virgin aggregates with recycled aggregates. Fine aggregates, so we have got many alternative to river sand. We are using the slag sand, alternative crushed stone, crushed fines. Water, you have to reduce the water requirement. Earlier, we were talking about 0.5 water cement ratio, but now we can make a flowable concrete at a water cement ratio of 0.3, even up to 0.26 we have achieved. We have flowable concrete using various admixtures, chemical admixtures. At the end of the day, we are looking for high durable performance of the concrete overall. So coming to the new generation green materials, what we follow, we have to use and depend on these alternative materials to make the concrete and construction sustainable. So I've already told you, the mineral admixtures, the chemical admixtures, alternative to river sand, alternative to coarse aggregates also available now. Steel slag aggregates are available now. And the nanomaterials and geopolymers, there are a lot of nanomaterials which have come to the market, ultrafine nanomaterials, which modify the properties of the concrete based on requirement. Other non-conventional materials like bamboo, aluminum, plastic, polymers, they are also gaining acceptance in the current scenario. So when we look at concrete, you can always question me, sir, okay, you are talking about so much of alternative materials, but are they able to give the required workability required performance of the concrete when we use them. Definitely. When we make concrete, when we design concrete, we're looking for properties like workability, pumpability, transportation, and pumping up to 1 kilometer. Nowadays, a lot of high-rise buildings are coming in urban environment. They're talking about 500 meters. In India itself, talking about 350, 400 meters. So, in the certain cities, recently the 1 kilometer Kingdom Towers, they are building Kingdom Towers in Saudi Arabia. So the concrete has to be pumped up to 1 kilometer. Friends, imagine pumping water itself may be difficult to 1 kilometer. When you are want to pump a very sticky concrete of M80, M100 to cast the columns and uh, the slabs and all. How concrete has to go? How much pressure will be there? Imagine. So we are able to achieve that kind of a concrete using technology mainly, without affecting the quality and performance of the concrete. So you may ask me, sir, like, okay, is it permitted as per the Indian standard codes? Because we being civil engineers, we follow all the standard codes for steel, cement, all other materials. Definitely, dear friends, the usage of mineral additives is permitted as per IS 456. You can see this table 5, it clearly says that you can use uh, additions of fly ash or GGBS to make the concrete, okay, as per the limitations. So they mentioned that the limitations for fly ash as per IS 1489 is up to 35%. Whereas in the slag, when we are using IS 455, this is the code for making slag cement as per IS standard. Up to 70%, we can replace the clinker content by using slag. We are to how we can replace so much of slag? That's also a question mark. And fly ash itself limit it up to 35 percentage. So talking about slag, why we have to use so much of slag? How can we replace them without affecting? I will going to talk about that. How slag is different from fly ash. These are the various mineral admixtures we have. We have fly ash that is almost grayish in nature. GGBS white, just like a white cement you can see. Beta kaolin is also white. So these are the specific area, the particle size, the bulk density, the specific gravity, everything is table here. The fly ash and GGBS almost similar in nature in terms of the fineness, also the specific gravity. We are comparing it with cement only. The fineness is there. The average particle size also same. Then the fly ash specific gravity is 2.3, whereas GGBS is 2.9. 2.9 is similar to cement, pure OPC cement, which is 3.12 or 3.15. So what I'm telling you is that between GGBS and fly ash, not much difference is there. Both are similar products. That's the reason we are able to replace higher percentage of GGBS in the concrete matrix. So concrete made with cementitious materials having very good advantages. Look at the properties. Heat of hydration is going to be lowered completely by using GGBS. Increase the water tightness. Recently published a paper. It has come. I'm going to share it with all of you. Today only it has come. We have done high volume GGBS concrete for marine structures, where we have studied all these parameters: water tightness, sulfate resistance, and chloride resistance. So I'm going to share that article to all of you after the presentation is over. So overall, the cementitious materials are going to improve the performance of the concrete, workability, and at the same time, it's coming to be at the lower cost. Because since it's an industrial byproduct, you have to process them, and they are always relatively cheaper compared to the clinker or pure OPC cement. Looking at the overall performance, how through various research articles have compiled these parameters, how the mineral additives like GGBS are improving the performance of the concrete. Later age strength, 56 days, 90 days strength is going to be 40% improvement. I've seen through my own eyes. My own buildings I've implemented casting the cubes for 56 days, 90 days and all. I have done when I constructed my house. I could see a substantial gain. In M25 grade concrete had become M50 grade concrete, which I had tested for almost 90 days. That was the advantage of using the mineral additives. Reduction need of hydration, so the thermal cracks are avoided, and the reduced pore volume by 60%, increase water tightness by 34%, sulfate attack, chloride attack, alkali silica reaction. You can see substantial reduction compared to the control mix when you use the alternative materials, the called mineral additives. So these are the tests you can conduct on when we use the supplementary cementitious material. Fresh properties you can check, strength of concrete, elasticity, creep and shrinkage, and durability parameters, carbonation, penetration, alkali aggregate activity, acid attack test. So we can conduct. So that's the reason that we can do all these tests on concrete and still concrete will be successful, be able to withstand all these environmental impacts. So there's no limitation when we talk about the alternative mineral additives. You can make various types of cement, various types of concretes. Cement means we can make composite cement, slag cement, PPC cement, then high volume fly ash cement, high volume GGBS cement. These are all quite possible. Similar way we can make the types of concretes also. Color concrete, self-compacting concrete, smart dynamic concrete, ultra high performance concrete, reactive powder concrete. And so these are all can be done, even light emitting concrete. These are all can be done using mineral additives. One by one, I'm going to talk about the sustainable products. I want to give a brief one by one how they are sustainable, how they are going to help us. Okay. So this is one process. The ground granulated blast furnace like GGBS is made. This is the blast furnace in the steel mill where we had limestone, iron ore, and coke as an input for steel making. So this is a catalytic reaction. So what will happen when we heat it up to 1500 degrees centigrade? Recently I visited the Bellary steel plant. So we are going to get a molten slag, which is about 35% floating above the steel. So the steel will be taken out to make the various steel products. Steel, TMT bars, coils, automobile steel. Many grades of steels are being manufactured at an integrated steel mill. And then we get the molten slag. It's about 30-35%. So we take it and quench into granules. It's a non-metallic product. I'm going to talk about now how GGBS is better than fly ash. So you can see the table here. I can clearly show the calcium oxide content. If you take the pure clinker, so 62%. Okay, then GGBS is having 40% calcium oxide, but whereas fly ash less than 2%. Silicon dioxide, clinker 22%, GGBS 35%, 55% in fly ash. This is one which is going to more reactive in the GGBS. So L2O3 also is up to 14%. And cement should be controlled 5%. Here in fly ash 30%. So this is the main product, calcium oxide, which is really helping the GGBS to perform. because GGBS is having 40% calcium oxide. Apart from the chemical composition, we have got various parameters. As this is the earlier code, IS 12089 talks about the raw slag, blast furnace slag. So we have tested the slag, the JSW slag, along with the standard specification given as per IS 12089. So in all the parameters, the JSW slag, which is being manufactured, surpassing the results. Even the glass content, 90 to 95%, whereas the requirement is 85%. So regarding the replacement levels, we can replace various percentage levels. We can replace 25 to 35% of cement when you are doing a precast construction, where you require early strength requirements. Maybe you require 14 to 15 MPa, 22 MPa in 24 hours. Sometimes they ask, we want 20 MPa in 12 hours. Many specifications are there. So similar way, when you are doing underground construction, GGBS can go up to 50%. Minimum level is 35%, maximum 50%. The mass concreting application can go up to 65%. So I have seen many marine structures and mass concreting applications, they are going up to 65%. So recently, we are doing concreting for L&T Seabird project, Carver Seabird project, where the GGBS replacement for M45 grade concrete, it's a marine environment, it's gone up to 70%. This has been quite possible by using various chemical admixtures also. We specially designed fast rock Arocost admixture, Aromix range of admixtures, where we have added accelerator. When we use replacement of cement with GGBS, we need to have an accelerator supported by a retarding agent, and that should be a workable mix. So nowadays, the concrete technologists are evolving many types of admixture to meet the demand of the industry. So you can always question me, sir, all is okay, but you are talking about higher improvement in the compressive strength, long-term durability. How it is going to be achieved? We just replaced cement with GGBS. Cement is one product which is fast setting, and we have seen the performance of the cement. Dear friends, GGBS also work like cement when it's mixed with the cement, the concrete matrix. So we are having water which is added to the cement, and hydration process will start. We're going to get calcium silicate hydrate gel and calcium hydroxide. So this is about 70%. This is about 30% calcium hydroxide. The combination changes here and there. This is cholesterol in the concrete body. It keeps on absorbing moisture, carbon monoxide, and other harmful chemicals like sulfides and chlorides, and damage the concrete, damage the reinforcement. So this is having a lot of small voids and pores. So what will GGBS will do? The moment you get these two products, this will attack, the GGBS will immediately attack the calcium hydroxide, convert this into calcium silicate hydrate gel. This is what the pictorial diagram shows, that by using GGBS, definitely you're going to have a double reaction. So definitely double reaction means double strength. Already discussed about these parameters. Say product, this is a pictorial representation. GGBS is going to give long-term benefit, the concrete, long-term strength, lesser cracking, high impermeability, resistance to chemical attacks. I was discussing, earlier. So how the last 5 years you have saved so much. 62.85 million cubic meter of concrete we have produced using GGBS. last 5 years. And the cement replacement is close to 6 million tons. Carbon dioxide emissions close to 5.24 million metric tons. Limestone, 8.36 million ton we have conserved. Imagine it's all in millions of tons. Saved 10.37 million ton mass from landfill. So we don't have to fill it again, because if you keep on excavating the limestone, later on, once the mine become empty, we have to fill it, no? That's the reason. This is the journey of GGBS growth. We already discussed it with you. Year on year, it's an hockey stick growth. GGBS is growing substantially. We have reached to 3 million tons. This year onwards, it will be about 3.5 to 4 million tons, because a lot of infrastructure work is happening. So in calculating, let us say you are building a small house, you can ask me, okay, how I can calculate the reduction in the CO2 emissions if I'm doing a M20 grade concrete, only 50 cubic meter, 30 cubic meter, 20 cubic meter. So you can definitely calculate. For 1 cubic meter, so we are consuming the one tree can absorb 22 kgs of carbon dioxide per year. This is the statistics available. So when we take the entire life of a plant, maximum it can absorb 1 ton of carbon dioxide. A plant. Okay. When you are making concrete, when you are using the GGBS, replacing about 40% of the cement content, I'm talking about close to about 104 kg, 105 kg. CO2 reduction is happening per cubic meter. So if I'm using 20 cubic meter, then we're going to save 2 trees. If you're using 10 cubic meter, it's equivalent to 1 tree. That's how. So for a smaller projects, I've given the statistics: 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh cubic meter. So approximately it's 1/10. It's coming to 1/10. So let us say you are making 10 cubic meter, then one number of tree. Straight away, you can have a thumb rule. Don't have to worry so much calculations. So 100 cubic meter, 10 trees. Like that, we can calculate. So coming to the various cements, the alternative cements and all, JSW Portland slag cement is once, having more than 50-55% slag in it. Along with the clinker, it's being manufactured. A very eco-friendly cement. And one more eco-friendly cement is the Concreat HD. It's a blend of OPC along with a lesser percentage of slag, having all the improved performance like a OPC cement, where you use 45% slag in this. Especially the product is manufactured to give quicker early strength like OPC cement. Should not miss. People say, no, OPC is quick setting, I want to use OPC cement. But using slag cement also, you can make the concrete quick setting. There's one more cement called ComCem. This is a composite cement using both fly ash and GGBS in the concrete matrix. So all the parameters we have cross-checked actually in terms of high early strength, in terms of final setting time, quick setting time, chemical resistance, increased durability, superior cohesion, green product. So all these things we have discussed. Lesser cracks, reduced bleeding. It's a wonderful cement which is now being marketed in Karnataka. The composite cement is very good. People are adopting. It is much more superior in terms of OPC cement, PPC cement. You can see all the marks here with a tick. We are like a cross. In all the performance parameters, this is behaving properly. So I've covered cement, I've covered main cementitious materials. Now I'm coming to the second part of the presentation. It's called replacement of river sand. So we all know river sand is not available. It's completely banned everywhere. So looks for alternative materials to river sand. having similar properties like river sand. So considering the requirement, JSW, first of its kind uh, slag sand plant we have installed at Bellary. This is a 80 TPH ton per hour plant. And one more plant we have put near to us, where it's having bagging unit also, 50 kg bagging. That is 120 TPH. So per hour, we are producing about 200 tons. Into we can take about 20 hours. This is what we are producing, close to 2000 tons. So slag is a very eco-friendly alternative materials. It can be used everywhere. It comes from slag. Already I have discussed it with you in the earlier slides. So in steel manufacturing, we get two technologies. One is the iron making technology, steel making technology, where we use blast furnace here. This is steel making, where we get the steel slag here. So in steel making, we get only 200 kgs, whereas in iron making, we get 350 kg. This is the difference. And the moment slag comes out of the blast furnace, we use a good cooling technology, chilling technology to get granules. The granules are very glassy in nature. It can be crushed into fine powder to make GGBS, which can be used for cement making also. And if you don't convert into a finer material, you can make slag sand out of it. Using air-cooled LD slag, we can make aggregates, coarse aggregates. So steel industry is like a Kalpataru or Kamadhenu, what we call. No product of steel making gets underutilized or unused. Can be converted into valuable products. Even LD slag also we are working currently. You convert LD slag into fine aggregate called sand. So how we can satisfy the codal requirement? So what we have done the processing for the blast furnace slag, convert into equivalent to river sand to meet the requirement of IS 383 code. So the river sand, this was the raw material, raw GGBS, and this is processed to get similar density like river sand, similar specific gravity, and reduction in the water absorption. This is what the conversion using that machines we have done. So the processed granite blast furnace slag is like a river sand, which is very eco-friendly and also can be utilized for concrete as well as plastering applications. It meets the zone 2 requirement, the blue curve. This is the processed slag sand. You can see the patterns what we have taken out. Looks similar to river sand. So you can ask what percentage we can use. Although IS code says up to 25% for the reinforced concrete, 50% for the plain concrete. We have done our own study testing. Have been already utilizing up to 100%. We can use this slag sand by closing your eyes, just like your river sand or M sand. 100% we can use. And also we have done a study on various strength parameters, 7 day, 28 day strength, and various replacements we have done with the natural sand. So you can see the 100% replacement of GPS also giving similar strength like a natural sand. Maybe 1 or 2 MPa variation will be there, but it's similar like natural sand and much superior than to the M sand. We've done checked for durability, checked for flyability, we have done. This is what we have established the plant at Bellary. Close to 50 to 60,000 tons per month it's going. Per day, we are doing about 1,500 tons of sand manufacturing. A similar way, we can make the air-cooled LD slag aggregates, coarse aggregates. It's a granulation process we have, so can convert into various aggregates. Applications, any product before coming to the field, we are testing the products for various applications in our own factory. It's one of the largest campus for various applications, maybe pavement, concrete, building, and all. It's tested. Then at various laboratories, we get it tested, these products. It goes through a rigorous testing, then only the product is released in the market. Physical properties. So, airport runway, highway, flyover, buildings, seashore protection, paver blocks. So, these have been tested at various construction sites. Karnataka Rural Infrastructure Limited, we have tested. Hospete Bellary National Highway. Common India is the one which is constructing this road. So more than 40 to 50 kilometers. This has been done with pure materials from the steel mill, and not using any natural materials. These are all processed industry products. This is called one of the greenest highway in India, where they're using GGBS for the PQC and making concrete, the sub-base, everything, JSB, DLC, PQC, everything is done using the steel industry byproduct. And also, the code also says that you can use the manufactured products. Earlier, IS 383 1970 was talking about only natural sources. At that time, the technologies were not evolved and all. So they were only using natural river sand. At that time, river sand was available. Construction was not as high as today scenario. At that time, we could use river sand because it was abundantly available. And now the continuous extraction of the riverbed for natural sand has really affected the ecosystem. So now it is completely banned by the government. They have approved now manufactured aggregates. Many codes have approved the product specifications. So I would like to say using alternative materials, we can do durable construction and also which is sustainable and eco-friendly. Future applications, we have done various studies on various applications and all. By using technologies, we can use these products for road construction and artificial rock making, railway, glass. So finally, the alternative materials are very eco-friendly. They are sustainable products, helps it to reduce the carbon footprint. And many applications of another material called GGBS, you know very well, can be used for RMC, can be used for AC block manufacturing, then these asbestos sheets, and also ultrafine materials. For export purpose, we can send it through jumbo bags and all. Sort of things are available. Field application of GGS in various products, concrete, we have done from 50 to 70%. The concrete block industry, this product has been successfully tested at various places. They are consuming it. In plastering applications also, the product has been used. Then the blocks, the pavers, the tiles, even including the garden paver blocks, pipes, and other superior concretes like stamped concrete, self-compacting concrete, pervious concrete, which allows the water to percolate. This mainly used for the pavement area to drain out the water. Fiber reinforced concrete, then white topping. Maybe seeing Bangalore, a lot of white topping is happening. There also they use this eco-friendly GGBS, high early strength concrete, good for runways, filling the potholes, marine structures, color concrete, and even including the soil stabilized box, we were using 5% cement. Here also, the GGBS has been utilized, replacing 5% of 5% of cement or 30%. We have tried. AAC blocks also, the GGBS has been used. So these are the decorative tiles and all, very popular nowadays. Smart city projects, we must be seeing a lot of these kind of items are being utilized, smart tiles. And coming to the drywall technology also, to be lighter in nature, these alternative materials play a very important role. So bio-based products. So with all that, I would like to say environmental impact from the manufacture of 1 ton of products. We are looking at cement 0.95 ton. GGBS is about 55 kgs. So the comparison is there. Here only you can see the chart. Fly ash. So using this product, replacing this product to 70% is really economical and eco-friendly. The greenhouse gas emissions CO2, pure OPC 142, 50% GGBS 82, 85.4 kgs, 30%, 118 kgs. So we have done various calculations how we can save the planet. So M30 grade concrete, a slag-based concrete, which can comfortably reduce the carbon footprint from 375 kg to 139 kg by using 70% GGBS. That is the one which is going to make the concrete very much green and economical and bring down the overall CO2 emissions as per the chart. Already discussed on these points already, how each and every type of cement is emitting CO2. So PPC 640 kg per ton, PSC 490, GGBS 65 kg only. So you can use this product directly blending with the OPC and reduce the carbon footprint. I already told you, many companies are launching new products with technologies, and they say Chryso launches EnviroMix, the first global range of admixtures, solutions and service for low carbon concrete. So using various new range of admixtures, it is as latest as May 18th, 2021. You can make the concrete more sustainable and durable. Reduction of CO2 by 50%. That's what they are climbing. So one more other technology is the 3D printing technology, which is gaining acceptance actually everywhere. Many buildings are being constructed globally using 3D printing. This is one building which is done at Italy. This is our own L&T, which is having a demonstration building at Chennai, done by 3D printing, where can use thinner sections. Using eco-friendly materials, we can design the buildings. Moving towards net zero building. Overall, we should look at HAMAT, developing net zero buildings using alternative materials that are sustainable and at the same time make the construction durable. So conclusion, I would like to conclude my today presentation. Dear friends, whenever you design concrete, if you are doing a site mix concrete, use blended cement, use PPC cement, slag cement, composite cement, masonry cement, like that. When you are making ready mix concrete, or you are buying ready mix concrete, you always buy ready mix concrete is having cementitious material like fly ash or GGBS. And also encourage usage of CND waste products in the construction. It will always help you. And using alternative materials, you can save the planet by reducing the carbon emissions. Both durability and sustainability in concrete construction can be achieved by using alternative materials in construction. That's what I wanted to say. I encourage all of you to adopt when you are doing research work, when doing projects and all, using designing the concrete with using eco-friendly materials like GGBS, fly ash, slag sand, copper slag sand, recycled aggregates. So you just calculate also like compared to the um, control mix, how much energy you are saving. You can make a project out of it. So with this, my presentation comes to an end. I would like to request all the participating delegates, students, faculty members, industry professionals to adopt green building solutions, alternative materials in construction, so that we can save our planet. We can make the construction sustainable and durable, meantime saving the valuable resources to our next generation. I thank Dayanand Sagar Academy of Technology and Management for providing this wonderful opportunity. I thank Vishwanath sir and Subbalakshmi madam uh, for inviting me to deliver this lecture from my side. We are always there from my side to help you in the type of research work. Want samples also, we make it available to you to do the research work. So with this, I will conclude my presentation. So over to the organizers. Any question and answer, I will be able to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your kind gesture. And we know that you are always there for us, helping us coordinate events, sharing your knowledge. We are humbly, we owe a lot of our gratitude to you for your magnanimity, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Dear
I will answer
participants,
the calls having the
yes,
coffee.
sir. No problem. Sir. Dear participants, we are open for discussion. If you have any queries, please let us know through the chat box, and I'll be able to post the same to Manjunath sir. Or else you can raise your hand as well, so that I can unmute you and you can ask sir directly. Participants, if you have any queries, please let us know. Yes. Sir, I should say that the way you have presented itself is so beautifully you have crafted your presentations, wherein there is an ambiguity when we talk about sustainability. Everybody tends to make cement and concrete the major enemy. When we talk about sustainability, wherein they say that the cement industry is one of the most polluting industry, leading to major carbon emissions, but you have completely removed the myth out of it and shown how cement industry have progressed to such a state that where the carbon emissions have reduced to a great extent. The,
Yeah, very true, very true. There's one new cement factory coming in Europe by Heidelberg Cement, where they're putting up a plant where it is emitting zero CO2. So they are adopting technology called carbon capture.
okay,
So let us say they burn the limestone to get the clinker. So whatever the carbon dioxide emissions are, they are capturing it and storing in the seabed through a pipeline. And the same carbon is getting utilized to make other products where carbon is required, CO2 is required. So making the whole manufacturing process net zero CO2 emissions. Those technologies are coming very soon. Like India will also adopt those technologies. That is the future now.
yes, sir. Sir, I have a question now. When we talk about sustainability, there is a major push towards masonry structures, structures which are
Yeah.
made out of soil, and because we have over the past few sessions we have heard speakers talk about masonry structures, where they could integrate it and take it up to about 5-7 stories in a building, and it has got unique applications. In that context, how far-fetched or how competitive is cement? Is masonry structure a threat to the cement industry, or do you feel that the cement industry will thrive, looking at all the environmental aspects and say the eco-friendliness of masonry structures?
Yeah, nice question. See, we need to have all alternatives. Okay. So, what is suitable, we should adopt at best on the environment. In Bangalore itself, here now, earlier people were only building masonry structures. Now, glass packets have come. Now, buildings are open almost 360 degrees. Only a concrete frame will be there. You are surrounding the glass packet and all. Okay. So in some other countries, they are making growing plants. They're creating urban forest on the. Go to Singapore. There are many buildings. They are growing forest on the building only. So masonry structure is not right. It may take the share of 5% or 10%, but almost 90% is concrete only. Now look at the way the buildings are happening in Bangalore. The individual house builders are building the masonry structure. There, everybody, even 30, 40 people also going framewood structure so that they can do alteration later on. Okay. So that it becomes very easy for them to do changes and alterations. Look at the builders like Prestige, Brigade, Purvankara. They are all going for shear wall technology, crane. Even the government buildings like Rajiv Gandhi housing projects and all. Because using Maivan Formwork and shear wall technology, they can do faster construction. The cycle time is reduced by half. You take 2 years to build a house, they are able to build within 1 year, completely hand over the building. So with all that, people are migrating. The major percentage of the building construction activity is going towards more and more concrete than masonry. They are eliminating plastering also. They're not using plastering for the shear wall technology. So, because the manpower is very less, okay, to in the building industry, gradually it's shrinking. Both agriculture and construction are going to suffer a lot because more and more manpower is getting trained, well educated, and moving towards IT, BT, other relevant soft skill jobs. So, with all that, this is the advantage and disadvantage. I don't think there will be a major scope for masonry structures in the future. It's eco-friendly, no doubt. But eco-friendliness can also be achieved using concrete structure also. So look at economy and speed.
Yes, sir. I completely agree with your point. Though even though masonry structures come into play probably in a few residential structures, I think cement and concrete industry will rule the rules for all other infrastructure works.
Very true. Very true.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, once again, on the behalf of our department at DSATM Civil Engineering, we thank you wholeheartedly for accepting our invitation and being here with us. The presentation was remarkably well because you have presented all the latest views and all the latest research that you have done. I think it's a big advantage for us as teaching fraternity, wherein we can take key points in this and probably proceed into say competitive research on few of the topics that you have presented. With
Yeah, sure. I'm ready to support them in terms of research work, guidance, as well as publications also. I keep publishing every month on various journals across India. Uh, I'll share all my publications to you so that people can go through that actually. Or they can go to ResearchGate. LR Manjunatha, ResearchGate, they search. All my papers have been loaded there.
yes,
More than 30 to 40 papers. So you can access all those papers and go through that actually.
thank you, sir. So kind of you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, if you can just present your credentials on the screen so that participants can take a screenshot of that, probably your email ID or say official email ID. In other words, if you can present it, I think it would be helpful for all the participants.
Already I've given, but you can
Okay.
they can write to
Yes,
me lrmanjunatha@gmail.com.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, I request Dr. Subbalakshmi ma'am to conclude the session. Ma'am, Subbalakshmi ma'am. She might have issues. Okay. Okay. Sir, thank you, sir, for sparing
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's
Sparing your
my
time.
pleasure.
And I'll be
Sure.
sharing the recorded video with you, sir. I have your email ID. I'll share the recorded video.
Like, email ID or WhatsApp, you can do WhatsApp also to me. No?
WhatsApp,
You
I think size of the file will be huge.
you
WhatsApp,
can
I
email
don't.
to me. No, that's okay.
I'll email it to you, sir. I'll email it to you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Dear participants, thank you. This concludes today's session, and we'll be uploading the feedback form. Please hold on. Uh, one minute. Thank you. The feedback form is uploaded. It's live. Participants can give your feedback, and this will conclude today's session. And we'll be meeting tomorrow at 9:30. And tomorrow's theme is auspicious, which also marks Vishweshwaraya's birthday, and we'll be starting off the theme with Engineers Day. Thank you, everyone. Once you've completed the feedback form, you can now log out. So, Balakshmi ma'am, you want to add on to it?
Sir, sir has left. Thank you, everyone. We are going to wind up the session for today, the second day of our FDP. Kindly fill the feedback form for the day. Thank you. Tomorrow is the Engineers Day, so we are having a half an hour inauguration, and then the technical session is going to start. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. The feedback form will also be shared in the WhatsApp group. I'll be ending the session now.